Hindi lang mga NBA superstars ang dumadalaw sa Pilipinas, pati na rin ang best basketball mind sa mundo. Pumupunta dito para ibahagi ang kanilang kaalaman.
Today, we are joined by the father of the Dribble-Drive-Offense, former Sacramento Kings assistant coach na si Coach Vance Wahlberg.
And of course,
dating
nating kasama sa NCAA when he was coaching the JRU Heavy Bombers, Coach Ariel Vanguardia, who is now coaching in the professional ranks. Coach Ariel, Coach Vance, thank you so much for coming here to The Score.
Coaches, good evening. And Coach Vance, I'll get to you first. Of course, the Dribble-Drive offense has been really known all around the world. It has also been adapted here in the Philippines. It has been used by our national team, the Gilas team, the FEU Tamaraws also. So, Coach, kindly educate us the basics, more or less. What is the Dribble-Drive?
Very simple. There's three main things that we try and do. Number one, we want all our players to have that attack mentality. Every time they catch that ball, we want them to think score. And what player doesn't like that? Okay. Two, we teach them how to open up gaps. And it's like I always try and tell people, imagine you try and drive through this type of a gap. And now if you open it up to this type of a gap, it's easier to drive and penetrate. And then three, once we do penetrate, how everybody moves to the way you go. And I can drive one way, shut my eyes, I know somebody's gonna be there, and behind me. And that's how simple it is.
Now, just so to make things clear, because I'm sure everybody is wondering, bakit magkasama si Coach Vance at si Coach Ariel ngayon? Coach, obviously you're good friends with Coach Vance, but what do you do aside from coaching? I think you're trying to promote the sport by bringing some of the greatest basketball minds here to the country. Is that right, Coach Ariel?
Yes, it's been a dream of mine. I've been attending camps in the U.S. and every year, trying to expand my knowledge. But it's my dream to bring coaches here in the Philippines so that the coaches here will be educated with the latest trends and what better opportunity to have Coach Vance here, the creator itself of the dribble drive. So maganda talaga para sa mga coaches na matuto sa kanya in person, hindi lang sa YouTube or sa DVD. Ito talaga, o sa mga libro, ito talaga dinala natin dito si Coach Vance para ituro, saka para tanong yung mga coaches natin from all levels.
So, Coach Vance, you've been a seasoned coach. You've worked with so many players in your career. So, how is it, Coach, working like with Filipino coaches, Filipino players? Can you tell us the difference, more or less? How is it to teach? How is it to work with them?
Probably the biggest difference is size. Okay.
Well,
just joking. Now, I've had a privilege of working with coaches, teams this week, and their attitude is tremendous. They work hard, and to me, that's all I've ever asked as a coach. When you step across those lines, give me your best effort, and then each day try to get yourself better. I think one of the hardest things to try and teach teams is everybody thinks it's always the coach teaching and coaching. For me, I'm a big believer, not as a coach teaching, but all your players are teaching one another. So if I talk to one player, I'm talking to every player, and I want those players to help coach one another.
Of course, there are many different philosophies with regards to defense and offense, but with regards to the dribble drive, Coach Ariel, sa tingin mo, bakit bagay ang dribble drive type of offense dito sa ating mga manlalaro sa Pilipinas?
Marami kasi tayo mga point guards na magagaling dito, mga attackers. Kahit yung mga forwards natin, marunong umatake, marunong mag-dribble. Yun ang advantage na natin sa international game. That we can get into that gaps, we can penetrate the lane. And we got plenty of shooters. So pagka nasarahan yung depensa, we can always kick out. So that's why it was effective in the international game when Coach Chot adapted it with Gilas too. And we were able to back to the World Championship. So I think it's a best offense for Filipinos to adapt, since we don't have that size advantage. And it was created by Coach Vance when he had really less height in his team.
So, Coach Vance, upon your observations from the Filipino players, also from our national team, of course, we've been trying to adapt the dribble drive for not a long time. But then, do you think, what are the improvements? What are the potentials? Where can we improve on? as a unit, as a team in the Philippines?
I think the biggest thing that you're going to see when you when you run the dribble drive, is the more you do it, the more comfortable you get.
Okay, so it's all about consistency.
Consistency and knowing, like I said earlier, when I drive, I know exactly where somebody's going to be.
Okay.
And again, it's just going to be, every game you never know how is that team going to defend you. Sometimes they might hug you in the corner. Sometimes they might play a little flat, or they might play on the high side. So you just have to learn to make those reads.
Coach Vance, you've been around the NBA and where the best players in the world are, players who can create off the dribble, go one-on-one. How prominent is the dribble drive offense? I'm just very curious for the NBA, how prominent is that type of offense there?
What's happening in the NBA is you're seeing a lot of bits and parts of the dribble drive. Not very many teams are going to go to it completely. Because if you go to it completely, but you don't understand, in the NBA you're playing. Take a look at Cleveland and Golden State. By the end of this year, they're going to end up playing almost 120 games. You know, you got 82, 8 in preseason, and you got 4 7-game playoff series. So it's a lot of games, and it's a lot of attacking. So what you see is you're going to see bits and pieces of it. You take the last game with Cleveland, LeBron had his mind made up, I'm going to attack more. And imagine giving LeBron this kind of a gap with his size and strength. So you see at times you're going to see teams use it.
So Coach Ariel, no, medyo similar yung NBA dito sa number of games sa Pilipinas, because in the pros we have 3 conferences, more number of games. So para sa iyo, Coach, ano rin, what about those players na medyo mahina, lesser talent on the dribbling, lesser talent on the speed, on the skill? Are they having a hard time as we teach it? Kasi syempre maraming mga advanced players talaga eh. But what about those players are kind of behind?
So far, we had 4 days with Coach Vance, and they kind of pick it up a little bit, step by step. They've been great in practice. They're enthusiastic about it, and we've been working also. Before he came, we've been working on the basics. So we've been working on our passing, dribbling skills, and I think we have the tools. Like we acquired Mark Cruz. So he's a very good dribbler, very good attacker, and he can create for his own and create for his teammates. And John Wilson, we also
your old main man.
Yes, so he can shoot, and we know JC Intal can penetrate.
So more or less, Coach, yung mga big man na talagang pure big, nakaka-adapt naman sila sa system.
Yes, Big Pedisi can shoot on the outside, and we got Prince Capiral's in and out.
He can attack and drive also.
Michael Miranda, same thing. So, maganda naman din. Willie Wilson is a hard worker. He'll be good. May mga position kasi na designated position at saka yung spacing ng opensa na you would know. Pag dumrive ka, eto may kick out. There's already kick out. There's you can pass back. There's already lob. So may mga rules na ganun. And we're trying to incorporate it with what we're doing with the team.
Coach Vance, is this your first time in the Philippines?
First time.
How are you liking it so far?
I enjoy it. It's like I said earlier, food's great, people are fantastic, really, really nice people.
Now, of course, I'm sure there are a lot of young coaches out there who are wondering how can they get in touch with you. Are you holding any camps? Is there a way that they can talk to you, approach you, and perhaps you can impart your knowledge of the game with those guys? Meron ba, Coach?
Yes, meron kaming Mastering the Dribble-Drive with Coach Vance Wahlberg. It will be on June 18 and 19 at the Kerry Sports Arena in Bonifacio, Global City. So it's Shangri-La. It's a very good facility. Hope to see it's endorsed by the Basketball Coaches Association of the Philippines. So I hope to see all the coaches this Saturday and learn from the father of the dribble drive.
So Coach Vance, any message more to the young players, young coaches who are really willing to learn this craft?
For the young coaches, I think it's great to get to. You know, same thing that Coach did, going to different clinics. I've done that my whole life. I hate to tell you, way back in 1987, I would start to see it. Every year I went to see a different college coach. I spent a whole week at their practices. And the more you can learn from different people, even if you pick up 1 or 2 or 3 different things, I think it's going to help you. And for players, it's a fun way to play. I mean, imagine if you're a shooter in this system, this style, you get to shoot a lot. If you're a guard that can really drive, you get to drive a lot. So it's a fun way to play.
Well, I'm sure everybody is very fortunate. All the aspiring coaches out there are very lucky that you're here in the Philippines. Thank you so much, Coach Vance Wahlberg, for coming here to score. Of course,
Coaches,
Coach Ariel Vanguardia.
Thank you.
Good luck in the professional ranks, Coach. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
For more sports updates, keep watching The Score. And don't forget to subscribe.